Ladies and gents, I can't believe it, the sun is actually out. It has seriously been raining here. The East Coast has been getting drenched every day for the last 2.5, almost 3 weeks. Look at that, blue skies, beautiful. No rain. Should we do something in the shop? No, we can't because it's completely stuffed to the brim. So this is part of the reason why I haven't been able to do much at the shop. It's because of the rain and the shop's stuffed full of things because I've been moving into this shop and Charlie has bought a house, so he's been moving, but he's been moving all of his stuff here. The closing took a little longer than expected. Of course, things always go perfectly. And so a lot of his four-wheelers and dirt bikes and stuff are here, but they will be hopefully moved out relatively soon. So clearly this place is stuffed to the brim with cars, dirt bikes, four-wheelers, and it's just ridiculous. So I'm just gonna go into today's video, and I know it's not super exciting. There is some stuff coming up, I can promise you that. Just hold on, just bear with me. I'm gonna do another subject video. So I've gotten this question at least 6 or 7 times through Instagram, like over the last couple weeks, and I'm just gonna make a video explaining where you should set VTEC on your B20VTEC or B16 or Type R. This isn't explaining how VTEC works. There's tons of videos and tons of other people that have explained how VTEC works. If you don't know how VTEC works, go find a video, just search how VTEC works. So I'm basically gonna explain where you should set your VTEC if you're just getting a base map and you just wanna get the car going and you just wanna have some fun. Obviously, the proper way to do this is to go have a dyno tune. Not everybody really has the time or the budget to really go have a dyno tune done. Usually, if you are doing a B20 VTEC, then you definitely need a chipped P28 or an ECU that is the equivalent of a P28. If you are setting any of your settings, whether it's launch control, timing maps, base map, setting VTEC. Question really comes in, where do you set that VTEC at? And that really depends on what head you're using and what intake manifold. So if you've just put together a B20 VTEC or LS VTEC, you're using a B16 head with a B16 manifold, then ultimately you're going to need to set the VTEC around 6,000 RPM. That's going to give you the biggest bang and pop of VTEC. Now, people have sent me messages recently saying, hey, I just finished my B20 VTEC and I set my VTEC at 4,000 RPMs and it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't make any power. That's because the way that the B16 head is designed and the way that the intake manifold flows, you really don't need VTEC to engage that soon because the shape of the smaller camshaft is actually still building power past that RPM for the design of the head and the intake manifold. Now, GSR engines actually have a VTEC setting of 4,500, but they have a much different intake manifold where it's the AIB system and the butterflies open up at 6,000 RPM for the shorter runners, therefore taking advantage of that 6,000 RPM crossover. Now, if you don't understand why intake manifolds are shaped the way they are, the LS intake manifold or the B20 intake manifold is actually like a hard L shape, whereas the B16 manifold or the Type R manifold is kind of a straighter, S shape, if that makes any sense. The reason for this is because that long L shape where the air comes in like a waterfall and then straight in, the L shape on an LS or B20, the reason why it's shaped like that is that actually helps provide torque. When you take that shape away, hence the reason why when people put a Skunk 2 intake manifold on a GSR engine, they'll actually lose a little bit of power in the lower range. And that's because they have shortened the runners. So air is getting into the head much quicker. So essentially, if you have a B16 head on your B20 VTEC, you will need to probably set your VTEC around 5,500, 5,800. That's its typical place where it really likes to kind of shine if you're using a stock base map. If you are running, say, a B20 VTEC with a B16 head, Type R base map works pretty well. If you're doing a B20 with a GSR head, a GSR map works pretty well as a base map. You could go to eBay and they'll actually give you a base map and a program. If you buy an ECU straight from eBay, they'll actually pre-program the chip for you with a base map and all the settings you want. So, rev limiter, VTEC crossover, stage limiter, or two-step as people call it, even the shift light. So it'll turn the check engine light into a shift light. Now, if you're running a B20 VTEC with a GSR head and a Skunk 2 style intake manifold, you'll want the VTEC crossover to be set higher. If you're running the GSR intake manifold, you want to set the VTEC lower, probably around 4,500, 4,800, and you're going to get, you know, a power boost there. You'll make better power through that 4,500, 6,000 RPM mid-range. And if you notice on most dyno sheets, the stock cam gets up to about 6,000 and then really builds up from there. And of course, setting your VTEC too low will actually cause you to lose power. So if you have a B20VTEC or even just a B16 and you set your VTEC at say 4,000 RPM, it'll kick on and you'll hear it, but you actually won't feel much power come through on the butt dyno. Now, if you have stepped up to bigger camshafts, then you definitely almost want to set your VTEC higher as well. So I used to have a B16 SIR2 engine, and I put Skunk 2 Stage 1 cams in it, and I set the VTEC at about 6,200, and that felt perfect. It also revved to about 8,500 and made power great, but when I set the VTEC lower, really didn't add any power whatsoever, because the smaller camshafts, even though they're smaller, they still make good power at low end. The whole point of VTEC is to have the best of both worlds, where you get a smooth idle, you know, good low end power, and then once, you know, you hit 5,500, 6,000, that power band takes off. So I know this wasn't super specific in, you know, explaining how it works, but if you're just running a stock base map on your B16 GSR LS VTEC setup, you know, don't set your VTEC too low. Sometimes if you're adding if you're adding more to the map, sometimes maybe even setting your VTEC a couple of hundred RPM higher can actually help as well, because you're getting the most out of those smaller cams. But of course, once again, if you really want to see real results, go to a dyno and have a tuner. Tune your car without VTEC turned on, and then tune your car with VTEC turned on very low, and then you look at those two graphs against each other, and where, you know, the VTEC profile makes more power, that's where you set the crossover. At least that's the idea. So I hope this little explanation of VTEC and where to set it helped. I will have more videos coming out, I promise. It's just, things just haven't worked out the way we've needed them to in the last couple weeks, but I promise you that I've got some stuff coming up very soon. It's definitely gonna be more K-Series oriented coming up, so please stay tuned for that. And in other news, I want to tell you guys that I am going to be starting a second channel. The second channel is already there. It doesn't have any videos on it. The name of the channel will be Mark MHSG, and I'm going to start putting videos there that aren't Honda related. If you guys noticed, the last upload that I posted was a phone prank. There's other things that I like to do, music, you know, guitar, phone pranks, and also just real life discussions that don't have anything to do with cars. It could be about pop culture, movies, or whatever. There should be some videos posted up there soon, because I know some of you guys out there like the vlogs and like to know what I'm up to, and then there's some of you that really don't. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. Also, YouTube is just really, I don't even know anymore. YouTube has just become a strange place, honestly. From what it was 5 years ago, it used to be a place where you could really start a channel, you know, get subscribers, push videos to your subscribers, but it seems like YouTube just doesn't care about that anymore, and I don't know why. It's really strange the way YouTube is kind of handling everything, and they've changed everything. It's like, hey, click the notification bell, but now there's 3 options for that. You can get notifications all the time, never, or even sometimes. So it's just been very challenging, and, you know, the channel has been kind of at a halt lately just because of the way things have worked out. You know, it would be nice to have another outlet, another channel. I've really started to look into getting a Patreon account. I've really tried to avoid going to this whole Patreon thing for so long. At this point, the way YouTube has changed and the way that ad revenue is so volatile, you know, I want this channel to continue. I want this channel to be able to keep going. It doesn't necessarily mean the channel's gonna die forever. There would be a lot more content available on this channel if there was more support for the channel. I'm gonna have a Patreon account, link is in the description. I don't know if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, check it out. You don't have to by any means, this is no pressure. Working with other companies and sponsors have saved this channel time and time again, and I cannot thank, you know, all of you guys out there that watch the videos and all the sponsors that have given me support over the last 2 years, and I want to keep it going and I want to grow the channel. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this channel again. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. So click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell if you really feel like it does anything, and click like if you like this video. If not, give it a thumbs down. And hopefully we're gonna get back to some car content here. I'm just literally waiting on some parts to show up, some things to show up, so we can go back to work on my EJ1. And there is definitely some other stuff that I don't want to say, but I know that there's gonna be a very cool tranny build coming up very soon. A couple engine swaps are coming up, and they're gonna be K-series for the time being. So thank you guys once again for all the support that you've given me. Can't thank you enough. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Keep living your dreams. So here's a preview of what's coming up soon.